This is a silent meditation retreat. This means no communication whatsoever. I think that our brains haven't fully developed for this much stimuli. I am done consistently reacting to things. What you learn from consistent meditation practice is how to really be happy. And I would just proliferate on these thoughts. I pretty much rewired my brain. Everybody really is suffering, and it's really kind of emotional, the shit that we put ourselves through. Welcome back to reality. My name is Bradley Marcus, and you're here with me in the reality that's ever-changing and non-personal. In this video, we're going to talk about how I meditated for 10 days straight, over 100 hours, somewhere like 110 hours, in the desert. Experience is entirely donation based. All the food, the place that you sleep, the water that you use, it's technically all free. And the reason it's all free is because this experience is so profound for so many people that they want it to be free for everyone. So all the cost for any new student to have this experience and learn and take this course was paid for by an old student. That's why the entire thing is donation based. There's no beneficiary that's paying for all these people. It's just all done by donations and old students. Not to mention, everybody that works there doesn't get paid anything. They're all volunteers. There are centers all over the world. You can probably find one pretty near you. They're in Europe, they're in Asia, they're in North America, South America, they're everywhere. And again, this just is another point of how profound these experiences are for people, that these centers are popping up all over the place. Let's talk details. Number one, the center was beautiful. The landscaping was really fun. There was a lot of little paths that would take you around the center. There were multiple buildings, obviously. There was your dorm building where we all had our own room because, well, COVID, so everybody has to have their own room. But we shared a bathroom. Then there were some buildings that were rooms with their own bathrooms. Then there was the meditation hall, and then there was the dining hall. Like I said earlier, this is a silent meditation retreat. This means no communication whatsoever. No eye contact, no gesturing, no mouthing words, no writing anything down. Obviously, any electronics. There's no TVs in the room. And what's really crazy that blows a lot of people's mind is you can't have any books or any journals. No books or journals? That's right, no books or journals. They want this experience to be completely isolated. The food that I ate was simple vegetarian food, wholesome, whole foods that was actually really good. I really enjoyed the food. Like, for example, breakfast was always the same. It's oatmeal and stewed prunes, which I never had before. It was really good. Then they also have yogurt, granola, some cereal, toast, peanut butter, and then apples and bananas are always available. Then for lunch, one day it was yellow Thai curry with brown rice or white rice, some sweet potatoes on the side, as well as some broccoli. There was always a salad bar at lunch. Another day it was a nice tomato bisque and some pasta. It was always really wholesome, and it tasted really good because it was made with love. The facility that I was in was built in 2013, and it was specifically built to be a meditation center. So this means things like the meditation hall, for example, were built to meditate. As an example, there were a lot of AC vents in the meditation hall because they wanted to keep it cool so people could focus and not fall asleep. The meditation hall was very closely located to the dining hall because they knew that when the bell was rang for lunch or breakfast, people could easily just walk to the dining hall. Everything was just so well thought out. And that was the first thing I noticed there, was everything was planned perfectly. And it just proves that the people involved in this organization really know what they're doing and are really just aware and down to earth and are able to just make sure that you have the best experience possible. They recommend you follow this schedule as closely as possible to make sure that you get the best and the most out of this experience. So this was my schedule, and you can see this on the website. 4 a.m. I would wake up, and from 4 to 4:30 you have your own time. I'd brush my teeth, wash my face, and stretch. Then from 4:30 to 6:30 you meditate in the hall or in your own room. So I'd meditate for 2 hours straight. Then from 6:30 to 8 you have breakfast. Then 8 to 9 you have your first group meditation, and this is where everybody in the center, including the staff, we all gather in the hall, the meditation hall, and meditate together. And this is mandatory. You have to be there for that hour. Then from 9 to 11, you meditate in your room or in the hall again. And then from 11 to 11:45 was lunch. Then 11:45 to 1 p.m. is a break, but they also have teacher interviews. And these are interviews for people who maybe are struggling with the practice, who maybe want to speak with somebody about something. And this is kind of where you can explain to a teacher any problems you're you're having, or maybe any second thoughts you're having about being at the course, and they're able to kind of talk to you and help you through it and make sure that you're in a good headspace. Also, total side note, there is an office manager that's available to speak with 24/7. Then after 1 p.m. from 1 to 2:20, you meditate in the hall or in your own room. Then you have, like, I guess, a 10-minute break, because at 2:30 is when the group meditation begins in the afternoon. That's for 1 hour again, 2:30 to 3:30. Then from 3:30 to 5, you have meditate in the hall or in your own room. So if you're counting, that's like from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's like 4 hours of straight meditation. 5 p.m. you have a tea break. If you're a new student, you're allowed to eat some fruit. They have apples and bananas, and you have tea. You don't have dinner, and I think it's because they want you to kind of fast throughout the evening and into the morning, because you're going to be eating at 6:30 in the morning anyway. But if you're an old student, you're not allowed to eat anything, and you're not allowed to have any milk with your tea. So that's from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. is the evening group meditation. And then from 7 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. is a video discourse where you learn more of the intellectual stuff behind the practice that you're learning. And then from 8:15 to 9, you have another group meditation, and then from 9 to 9:30, you get ready for bed. I forgot to mention, when you have a group meditation, in the very beginning, there are instructions on how to do this practice, because that's one thing I didn't really realize. I kept calling it a retreat. I quickly learned that, oh, it's not really a retreat as much as it is a course, and there is, it's work. You're putting in this work. It's not like I guess the idea of retreat to some people turns it into relaxing on the beach and like getting a massage or something like that. It's like, no, you're here to meditate. You're here to work on yourself and to learn a new practice that you will take with you for the rest of your life. And a few other things to mention. If someone needs to get a hold of you, there's an emergency number. They can call the center and they can get a hold of you. But that's in an emergency. And for the rest of the time, you are completely secluded from the outside world. Some major world event could have happened, like the stock market could have crashed or something, and I would not have known at all. There's also a walking path. So if you want to get some light exercise, every center has a nice walking path for you to walk around and enjoy. What's also funny is they don't want you to meditate outside. They want you to be inside, so you're not getting distracted. You're supposed to meditate with your eyes closed and sitting down, and this is just part of the technique. Now I'm going to tell you about what I gained from this experience, because I gained so much. But first, it's about 8 o'clock. You know what time it is? It's time to meditate. Wow, that was fun. Wasn't that nice? My leg fell asleep, and it was getting a little hard towards the end there, but I remained equanimity, upekkha, and just kind of let it be there. Now I feel really good. I feel like my tone's totally changed after that. I'm like way calmer. What did I learn? Well, let's talk about it. Oh, the first thing is I live a very cushy life. And what I mean by that is, like, we have really comfortable beds, time to ourselves. We have all these entertainment devices around us, ways to, materialistic things that we get to enjoy that allow for comfort. And during the course, you don't really get any of that. And so, like, on the first day when I laid down in bed after meditating for 11 hours, my body was not used to that. There was some discomfort, and the first thing I thought about was, gosh, man, my life is so cushy. It's so comfortable. It puts a lot of things into perspective, because there's a lot of people in the world who live their lives every single day without all of these comfortable, cushy things. The second thing that I learned, I'm a lot stronger than I ever thought I was. I've known that I can push through and do things that I need to do, but I'm not one to kind of make myself do that. But in this scenario, I not only had to, but ended up really wanting to prove to myself that I could. And that strength that unveiled, I don't know if that's the word, itself was really like a beautiful thing for me to see within myself, that I really can do a lot more than I thought I could or give myself enough credit for. And the third thing that I learned that I think is the most profound and has really changed my life entirely is the fact that I and we as a society are way too reactive in life, way too reactive. What I mean by that is, from the outside looking in, you think, well, this is crazy. I felt like the outside world was crazy because of all the external stimuli that we have constantly bombarding us. If you live in a city, you know exactly what I mean. Even if you don't live in a city, if you have a phone, you know exactly what I mean. These social media apps, these billboards, these commercials, interacting with people in your day-to-day life, trying to get from one place to another, involves a lot of external stimuli and a lot of thinking. And I think that our brains haven't fully developed. No, I know that our brains have not developed for this much stimuli. I decided I am done consistently reacting to things. I want everything that I do to be extremely intentional. Every action that I take in my life, I want to be something that I chose to do as opposed to reacted to do. So for example, this is why I'm keeping my phone now over here in the kitchen as opposed to in my bedroom. I don't want to obviously wake up and react and grab the phone, but I don't want it to be that accessible. The other thing that I'm actually doing is I'm tying it to a string. If it's not charging, it's at another spot in the kitchen where if I need to do something with my phone, I have to get up and walk over to my phone. So again, it's not only less accessible, but now that I have to take that extra step to get to my phone, I'll actually ask myself, wait, why am I going to my phone? Oh wait, I need to check my messages. Okay, I can't just pull my phone out of my pocket and do that. I have to get up and go check my texts. And then what's really beautiful about that is because I have that intention, I'm less likely to get pulled into a new notification. That's just what I really thought was really powerful, was my intention. What is my intention every single moment? I mean, of course, obviously, I also learned how to meditate very well. I learned the practice of Vipassana and Samadhi. Vipassana means insight and to know things as they very much truly are. And then Samadhi means concentration. Those two practices are going to help me throughout my life forever. I pretty much rewired my brain. That's another thing. I mean, I went through a dopamine detox and I learned how to not be so reactive to life. So my brain, when I go out in the world now, I see things so much more clearly and peacefully and differently. I call it somersaulting. Like, I used to somersault so much. I would think one thing and I'd get attached to it, or I'd have an aversion to it, and I would just proliferate on these thoughts over and over and over for potentially hours. Then eventually, as all things do, they would pass. But then, an hour of suffering would go by. Now, because my brain is less reactive from those 10 days, I'm able to just see things as they are and just let them be. And this is why I'm keeping up my daily practice, and I'm going to do 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, because this is going to continue to allow me to keep this mindset. Because I know that if I start falling back into jumping on my phone and not meditating, I'm going to then go back to where I was before and just be reactive to life. They also teach you some beautiful Pali words, which Pali is the language of the Buddha. So, I mean, I also have been studying the Pali language before this. Buddhism had already been something I loved and enjoyed, and that practice was something that I was already experiencing and putting a lot of effort into and learning about and reading. And now I had this opportunity where I was like immersed in it. Now I'm with a teacher who teaches me these things and can really learn the path. One of the things is anicca. I learned impermanence. Everything in this world is impermanent. That is a fact. I also, they briefly talked about it, but this is something that I've spent a lot of time in my own practice learning about, is anatta, which is no self. So all of our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations, they are not us. We don't have to become entangled in them. I also learned there's a whole community of people out there that do this all the time. Like, this is so normal to them. Like, I talk to my family, my friends, oh my God, I can't believe that. And I'm like, I know, but there are people who do this every single, like, some people just go around doing this. They don't even have a house. They just jump from center to center. What you learn from consistent meditation practice is how to really be happy, like how to really be happy, because you learn that you don't need very much to really be happy. You probably heard before, happiness comes from within. But the problem with that statement is it doesn't really like teach you how to be happy. It just is a statement. It's like if I said to you like E equals MC squared, you're like, okay, I kind of get what that means, but not really. This taught me how to really be accepting of all things as they are and just allow them to be. Again, and this is a skill. It's not just like something you learn, like, oh, the ocean is this large. Okay, cool. No, this is like a skill. This is like learning to ride a bike. First you understand it conceptually, then you hear somebody tell you about it, but then you have to experience it. This is an experiential skill. This is an experiential understanding. All right. I think I've said everything I needed to say regarding what I learned, and I'm going to make some breakfast, and then I'm going to tell you why you should do it. First reason you should do this is because you're going to push yourself a little bit, and I think that we all need that in life. I think, like I said earlier, we get a little too comfortable, and new experiences make us grow. I mean, that's a fact. Uncomfortability makes you grow. So if you are in a place in your life where you need something new and you want to try something out, this is a perfect, amazing opportunity. Another reason you should do it is because it's going to give you a skill that's going to help you through life. It's like going to school. You're learning a new skill. The next reason is because what you're going to learn is how to truly accept things, and in turn, you're going to be more peaceful and more loving, which is going to help every person that you meet and every person you interact with. You're going to be able to make decisions more effectively. You're going to obviously lower your stress and anxiety. You're going to be able to slow down, see life really as it is, and that's going to greatly affect those who are around you. So the people that you love will get benefit from this, because it's going to allow you to be more calm and peaceful and more true to who you are and less reactive. But in the end, I had like a profound life-changing experience. I plan on doing these things, these meditation courses, retreats, hopefully once a year. And I also plan on donating my time to help the center so that they can continue to give this experience to more people. It's a wonderful, beautiful teaching. It will help you tremendously. It will stick with you for life. Not only is it, technically free to learn, but it's free to practice. And you can't beat that. You really can't. When you come to this understanding that we're all suffering, like you'll learn this in the course, and I talk about this on my channel all the time, but you learn how to eliminate your own suffering. And when you do that, at least for me, I understood like everybody really is suffering, and it's really like kind of emotional. The shit that we put ourselves through in our own minds, the attachments that we have and things that we overthink, and all of that is mental suffering when we could be at peace with ourselves. And so to learn how to do that gave me the inspiration to want to give this to others. It's like releasing yourself. It's like if somebody's stepping on your chest and you're just like, you can barely breathe, and finally take their foot off and you can take a breath in. And that moment, you're just like so happy and grateful to be at peace. And I had a lot of moments like that in the course. And when I had those moments, I would think about others and all the pain and suffering that goes on in the world, and why people act with negative intentions is because they're suffering. They don't understand how to relieve their suffering, and they're acting out because of that, or they're doing something they think will make them be happy. It's like, what's the point of life? The point of life is to enjoy it, to be happy. So this teaches you that. Yeah. May all beings be happy.